You want to know how to shave, but you don't even know the basics. Well, that's why I'm here. To teach you the basics. To teach you how light works, and how to shade. So, let's go. This is a sphere that I drew to showcase this. Now, the first thing you need to know for shading is where your light source is coming from. It's pretty obvious with this artwork that the light source is coming from here. Okay, now, imagine that light is a bunch of lines. So, and light bounces. Sometimes it bounces back, sometimes it bounces left, sometimes it bounces right. But light goes everywhere, not just to the object. So, it can even go on the surface, then bounce off of that surface. When that happens, it's called bounce light. Basically, it's the light that is reflected, that it reflects off of the surface that the object that has on there, and that light goes to the object. It's not as bright as the regular light source or the light that it emits, but it's faint. Okay. A basic example. A coffee mug. Which is not sponsored, of course. I just started. Why would I ever have a sponsorship? So, you can see how the light interacts with the mug. Obviously, the light source is coming from somewhere over there. I wonder what. And basically, you can imagine those lines. And the light is bouncing off. There's a reflection of the light right here. That's called a highlight. And there are more highlights, like here and here. Can you spot the bounce light? Ignore that. First, I want to help you see the shadow. The shadow is in this region over here. Can you guess where the bounce light is? If you guessed right here in this region, then you're correct. There is bounce light there. If you look very closely, of course. Yeah. There's also bounce light here as well. But it's not as obvious at first thing. An example. My shoe. You see, a mug is just a cylinder with a semicircle on it, but a shoe has many different types of shapes, like a tube shape, be like a square shape if you might give it enough imagination, and a triangle shape for imagination as well. Where do you think the bounce light is? That's right. It's right here. It's in this region right here. This is the light region because it's closest to the light. This is a dark region because it's more away from the light. It also affects the color of the laces themselves. The laces are supposed to be white, but because of the off-white of the light over there, they are the color of... Why is it so blurry? They are the color of the light that is being shown over there. So yeah, It's pretty cool, actually. To see how much the color of light can affect the color on an object. Apply that to our drawings. Now, in art, we use simple shapes. We used to use simple shapes when we were beginners. Like if we wanted to draw a hot dog, for example, we would draw it like this. Oh, of course, not like the. We would have drawn it like this. Or at least I would have. But of course, we all know the shape of a hot dog is like an oval. But for some reason, I used to draw a hot dog like this sometimes. But if you're a professional artist, you use more complicated shapes. And you can shade those shapes as well. Hold on, why is it so blurry? You can shade those shapes as well. Okay. Easy example. A circle. And a cube. It was a little off for some reason. I don't know. Now, let's say for the cube, the light was coming from here. Now, where do you think the brightest spot will be? If you said, I'm somewhere on the square, then you're correct. This would be the brightest. And if you said the dark region was going to be on this square, then you would also be right. Now, by process of elimination, of course, the midtones will be right here because it's somewhere in the middle. And now let's add our bounce light that we keep talking about. And I talked about at the beginning of this episode. Also, pro tip, never make something brighter than a light source. And because otherwise it would look like the light source itself. And we do not want that. That's a big no-no. Let's do a more complicated example. Okay, no, wait. Now let's say that maybe the source of light isn't really visible like this. Maybe it's in the back of the thing. Maybe it's behind. So this is when we need to think in 3D space. Because a sphere has an infinite number of sides. It doesn't have one side. It has a lot of sides. In fact, there's infinite sides. Because, well, pi, of course. But of course, some of the light will seep through, but only the center will have like a lot of shadow. The middle would be the darkest. Parts. So it would look something like that. But it would be more contrasty. Also, if you don't know what shading technique I'm using, and that's not smooth, this is called cross-hatching. basically, you do something like this. I'm doing a gradient right now. And to make a line something darker, you put another layer over it. And this tricks your brain into seeing shade if you look at it from afar. And it gives it a texture. I learned it from Draw Like a Sir. Please subscribe to him. Okay, let's do a more complicated example. Like, for instance, let me think. A hand. Yeah, a hand. That would be one of the most complicated things to draw. So first, I'm going to start with simple shapes. But Jackson, you just said that pro artists don't use simple shapes. They use complex ones. Yeah, well, you clicked on this video because you're a beginner, aren't you? Or maybe you're a pro just wanting to refresh yourself. Okay, let's just draw. If you want to draw a hand, always remember that the middle finger is always the longest finger. And the pinky is the shortest. And the middle knuckle is the biggest. And the index is the smallest. Okay, we got our hand. We got our hand right here. Now, how are we going to shade it? Well, let's divide our fingers into three sections. And I'm just going to scribble in the detail. I'm just going to scribble the shading in. I like this style of like going crazy. I like going crazy with the things, with the shadings. Sorry if this is taking a while. Of course, if you want to add cross-hatching to your thing, you gotta make sure it follows the law of the shape itself. You don't want like a circle that is shaded to look like a sphere, but it uses like square tactics. This is the hand that I drew. Let me give it a little more shadow. Just like scribbling it and going crazy with the details. I'm going like crazy sometimes. It's kind of freeing, actually. I mean, there's the hand we got. You don't have to use the same technique that I do. You can use smooth shading. I was a smooth shader for a while. Then I found Draw Like a Sir. Just please subscribe to him. He's pretty cool. Remember, that everything that has to do with the middle finger, it's always going to be the longest. The knuckle, the finger itself, the vein. Alright. That is all I've got for this long form video today. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.